we talking about today?
WUFFES.
Oh, no way. Okay. I'm excited. What kind of offer is it?
It's an advertorial, which I don't think we've talked
Oh,
about yet, so that'll be fun.
awesome. Is Wolf spelled WUFFES?
Yes, exactly right.
Real offer. Cool, cool. Well, I'm getting this set up. Get down. Chad, did you have any interest on um you might have voted on that poll that Spencer threw up. Do you have any interest in another show? Like what would bring you value?
Okay, I'm looking for, did I miss that?
Maybe I think his options were Google advertising, Meta advertising, or it's like full top of funnel.
Let me refresh my. Yeah, I think that I chose the Meta advertising, but primarily because of obviously what we're going through, like right now with just, it just seems like no traction right now. We're getting a lot of click-throughs, but that's it. I don't even know if they're real. I mean, yeah, I'd love the Meta piece would be good.
Gotcha. Okay. I think we'll probably shoot to get that one up. Austin will probably be leading it probably in the next couple of weeks or so. It'll be
Awesome.
similar to this where it's laid back, just giving value where we can.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
cool. All right, Melissa. I think it's just us three for now.
Let's do it. Okay, so WUFFES is one of them that I've kind of had my eye on for a while. Um, in the springtime, they were doing quizzes and they've switched in all of their ads now from how far does it go back? June. So in the summer, all of these are now going to like that advertorial style. So they were focusing on like a probiotic, um, which will be this one here, which is interesting. It's mobile only. I'd be
Oh
interested
wow.
to know is if they're running ads to desktop at all or if it's just to mobile, because
Hmm.
that's interesting. And then this is the one we're going to look at today, which is the hip and joint support. Um, I'm just very intrigued by the fact that they have a mobile only landing page for this.
Are they on Checkout Champ?
Hmm,
Oh wow,
shop,
no, Shopify.
yeah,
That's interesting.
recharge. They're doing some TikTok stuff. Yeah.
I wonder if
Hmm.
it's because they primarily believe that stuff is kind of if they're heavy on TikTok in particular, because I noticed it was a lot of videos.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, that's probably true. And I know Austin just sent us for was it IBD Assist? Is one of the brands. Um it was like 86% of the traffic was or the traffic that was converting, I think, was mobile. Is
Hmm.
that right? I'm
Yeah.
making that up. Maybe I dreamed that.
It might have been 82, but it was in the 80s. And I would say that most brands are at least 75%. I mean, we're
Mm.
talking 75 to 90% are mobile. So it's interesting that they're just like, you know what, you don't get the experience. If you're on desktop, you can just have this, just deal with it. Because a lot of people build for desktop and then forget about mobile. And it's like actually that's where your traffic's coming in. What's actually
Hmm.
so. And then one of the things for if you're looking at something like this, it's hard to tell on desktop. So I opened it up on my phone as well. But they just skate by with the top of fold ending right here. And it just goes to show like not I don't love how big the headline is, but they're at least going like, okay, what can we get above the fold on mobile that is going to have some sort of urgency or scarcity or something, we're not going to be able to have the offer up here. So they have this that lets us know, a little bit of that urgency. And then you can also have the timer, but you can also click straight down to the offer as well, which I think is
Mhm.
pretty smart. They know what they're doing. But
I
yeah,
like that headline setup. The surprising truth. All right, you got my attention. 7 everyday habits. There's that seven number that
yeah,
could be impacting your dog's joint health. And then according to veterinary experts. So it's like they packed in, like, catch my attention, 7 everyday habits. Seven's just a magical number for some reason, and it's digestible. So I know I'm not going to read like an essay. And then according to veterinary experts. So they have that authority.
yeah. And then for anybody that doesn't know what an advertorial is, it's a glorified blog post. It's most of them are like listicles. This one is a listicle where you have that seven and you're going to list out the seven things. But it is most blog posts are like, here, let me educate you and do backlinks and get all the information in all at once. And this is like, here's specific information for a specific product and then we're going to give you the opportunity to convert on just that product. We're not sending you all the other places. So as you go through like this advertorial, they'll have blog post type elements where they have like the intro and stuff like that, but then they'll just go through the listicle of like number one, number two, and each one is will have the headline, and then they'll have generally like a headline and image and then a couple of paragraphs to go with it. And all of the call to actions are going to go down to the offer. So as they kind of all of these seven headlines are going to go back to your point. They're going to go back to everyday habits that could be impacting your dog's joint health. So, like you're educating the person who's coming to the site about what could be impacting, and then also educating them on, okay, but this is how you mitigate that with our product.
When I
Carly.
was when I was first getting into marketing, so I went to UNCG for a marketing degree. And my grandmother at the time was CFO for a radio company. Like they did raffles and giveaways and stuff. That's probably why I talk about giveaways so much. Um, and one of her pieces of advice was never put an exclamation point in an email subject line. And I don't know why, but that would like just stuck with me. So I never put an exclamation point in an email subject line. And I do the same thing where I always tell people like the how to read like a blog post or an email, image, bold text, and then lots of copy. Because as
Yeah.
you're going through this, I find myself doing it. I'm just looking at the bold text. And I don't know about like maybe you chat are just looking at the images. And then I hope I pronounced this right. Imran's maybe reading all of the copy. It's interesting these old like marketing things that they just stick around.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not one to read a lot of text. So I would for the images and the bold because I read a lot of text at work all day long. If it's somebody else's text, I'm just scrolling on by. So like why it matters. Then somebody might read just this paragraph. But when they're calling out like this section is cool because they're calling out the like what's inside and so just their products being highlighted. If you want to read more about them, you can. So, okay, I gotta meet this infamous grandma. You keep talking about.
You already have.
So then when we get to the offer, I don't know what it is. I think I'm losing my voice, you guys. But when we get to the offer, something that I think is really cool that not a lot of people are doing is giving them a lot of options in regards to like for this dog supplement, it really depends on the size of your dog. And so they're giving them options about how many that comes in. So they have to have some way in the back end to figure out how many tubs that they're going to need, um, and or how often it delivers. So if you have a dog that's over 120 pounds, they deliver it every 15 days. If you have a dog that's 0 to 35 pounds, you're delivering it every 60 days. And so while we might not be doing dog supplements, like what are the ways that we can translate that for our supplements? You know what I mean? Are there certain factors, and not all supplements are created equal and not all supplements are needed at a different varying rate, but like are there certain factors of like, okay, well, actually you're getting, a lot of people will be like, oh, it's a delivering every 30 days, but I've seen it before where it delivers every 30 days, but you have 60 pills and you only need one pill a day. And I'm like, we need to be updating that to be like, hey, like some people might need two pills a day, you might need one pill, and like having that information. So like really like thoughtfully paying attention to what is the actual cadence of somebody needing that on delivery or on subscription for delivery.
I have a question on that because I think it's actually kind of double clicking on an issue that I'm running into. So we know a child psychologist that has discovered overnight our sleep supplement, and she's done her research on the ingredients. Matter of fact, she's a user. Now we obviously don't target children and youth, but she really wants like to sell it to children and youth because she believes that the ingredients are right, that a single pill dosage is perfect for, kids under a certain age, under 18 years old or whatever. Um, like I'd want to do something similar because it's like you said, it's 60 pills in one deal. Well, if it's a kid,
Mhm.
that's 2 months worth.
Yeah.
Um, but I like the pounds as well because I ran into a problem where I was over supplementing because I was taking a suggested two pills when really that suggested two pills might have been for someone that weighs twice what I do.
Yeah.
Their body just wasn't absorbing it the same way. So I'm just kind of spitballing here, and Devin, you've got experience with it. Like, would that work for the different age ranges or different weight classes? Is best that I can think.
I think what would be an interesting test for you is if you created a landing page specifically targeted, not targeted at kids, but targeted
Right.
at like, parents of kids,
Yep.
parents, obviously. Um, because hearing you say that, we just came out of a call with a fem care brand, and we were talking about like the USPs for some of their products. And I'm I tell a story before I think you've noticed by now, I always tell a story before I actually jump into the details. I was meeting with an individual named Michael this past weekend. And I was telling this brand something similar came up where he had a hydration supplement. He was trying to sell it as plant-based. As you know, plant-based is every product is pretty much
Mm.
plant-based nowadays. And one of the things that he was saying is like, I couldn't get it to work. And I started to change things to like mushroom infused. And I was like, that's interesting because, there's obviously a lot of mushroom infused products. There's mushroom infused coffee, mushroom infused, whatever, name it. But I haven't seen anything that's really like mushroom infused hydration. That kind of stands out to me. If you could tell me why that's so important within your product, that's interesting. So, like your product, for example, and what you're describing to me is if you niche that down to the kids in particular, I'd be really interested to see if that helps boost sales quite a bit. And if you could do something similar to this, where you can kind of uh, alter the dosage, like based on weight, like you mentioned because I just did a quick search and I don't see a lot of competition. Obviously, Haya and another one that popped in my head, which they baffle me, is what's that brand, Melissa? Is it True Height? The kids like
Mm.
height supplement? Super
Yep.
weird. I don't know if that answers your question, Chad. I went on a ramble there, but
No,
that
no,
got me
no.
really
Yeah.
excited. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I mean, Melissa, this was perfect to call something like that out for offers because, we do run into that. And especially when it was a child psychologist that comes to me and is like, hey, you got something that kids could use, but they can't take two pills. They can't take two or whatever the case may be. It's like, huh, how do I do that? And how do I, kind of make that trans? I think it just comes down to a landing page and especially if I could get her to do like a little, blurb or whatever and, put her stamp of approval on it as a child psychologist that the biggest thing that she tells her clients or their parents is put the phone down and get some more sleep. Like, the kids are screwed up because you're letting them, stay up in bed all night with a phone in their hand. So, yeah, I may try to pull something like that off.
Well, this would actually probably be better than like a full-on landing page. It's like exactly what we're talking about, an
Yeah, exactly.
advertorial. And
Yeah.
then if you're is it a friend or associate?
Yeah, it's a friend of my wife's. Yeah.
If she is okay with like speaking to that and you using her name and her
Yeah.
authority within that article, obviously you don't want to write anything that's BS. It actually has to come from her. Um, that would be a really interesting test because that doesn't deviate too far from your brand currently. And an
Mhm.
advertorial is meant to be like a blog post. Like um, it could just be all targeted around like kids, like sleep health, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. No, I
Huh.
love it. I'm gonna give that a try. I'm gonna reach out to her. Also, and I don't, you haven't quite got down here though, but I love that we recommend at least 3 months of consistent use to see results. Like
Hmm.
that's not just for animals. That's like for everything, right?
Yeah.
Overall supplementation. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, one of the things that I do like to see a lot is when people put like that, or they'll show like a timeline, so you can like really see like what to expect. And like a lot of people are like, I took a month's worth, I'm not cured, what's going on? And you're like, okay, first of all, you're not going to be cured. Second of all, 3 months plus of consistent use, you'll just start to see the results. So absolutely. And then so after we go through the seven, I think, oh, they stopped numbering 5, 6, 7, and then we see the offer. There's still more information after, so it's not just like seven bullet points on the listicle and then it's done. They still go through like any objections they think that they'll still have. So it's like really blog post heavy on the front end of like indoctrinating them essentially into like, hey, these are the things. And for yours, it could be like 7 mistakes parents are making around their kids' sleep or something, and like going over it. And then after the offer, it's like, what is actually the actual cost of waiting? What is the cost of not making the move? Like that. And then also any sort of testimonials, social proof, all of that. I think a lot of people forget to put it on stuff like advertorials because they were like, oh, like it's like a blog post. It's not that big of a deal. But they are different. Blog posts and advertorials are different. And an advertorial, you're actually selling something, and having that social proof on there is actually key for conversions. So it'd be really interesting to see if they have like a heat map on here to see how far people get down on the page to see if like a lot of people do. But I would bet people are down here looking at these advertorials before making their decision.
Mhm.
So that's a question that I do have, especially whether it be a traditional landing page setup or even something like this. Like we know that we're losing the attention of our audience. It's just getting shorter and shorter, right? Like how many people are really scrolling all the way down before they see the offer? Um, you know, I'd like to think that, yeah, it's captivating enough, but I just don't, even with my landing pages, like I don't see enough people like scrolling down to the offer or hitting the call to action button that'll automatically take them to the offer. And that might just be me, by the way, but
Yeah, either heat maps or split testing where on the page is your offer. And that really is going to help you determine like, are people just not getting to the offer? Do I have too much information on top?
Mhm.
Um, and then also, it could be just like all this information here, but if you have like up top, they're letting you know it's an exclusive offer, and right away that you can, oh my goodness, I didn't mean to click it. You can unlock the offer, but there'll be other landing pages and stuff where like it doesn't have the checkout button up top, but it'll clearly state the offer above the fold.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
lots of different ways that you can go around with being like, okay, are we not converting because we're not actually seeing the offer? We're getting bored before then and click it out. So
Mhm.
yeah,
And
definitely.
for heat mapping, I think Microsoft Clarity has a Shopify app now. I think they're free still. And then I can get lazy about this stuff sometimes, and I'll usually just go to an exit pop. So as soon as they go for that back button, just pop it up. It just needs to be compelling enough. to get them to either stay or click that button for the offer. But it depends on like also the psychology of the customer that you're trying to attract, because right here somebody's going to hit this page and they're going to immediately see unlock offer, and then they might have red flags pop up and say, oh, they're going to try and sell me something, and so they might bounce out. There's other landing pages, and you can create a there's other apps. There's Jumbleberry, Square Dance, and ClickBank. They're all affiliate platforms, and you can create free accounts on them. And when you, whoa, heard some dollar signs. When you, maybe it's just my headphones. When you sign up for those accounts, you can see all the offers that you could market as an affiliate marketer. And when you look at those offers, they take a different kind of marketing approach. They want highly qualified buyers. And so they usually won't put buttons for offers early on in like the advertorial. They'll make you scroll through, either stay and watch the video for like 20 minutes or make you read through the entire advertorial before you actually see the offer. Because they know if they get you to the very end of that video or they get you to the very bottom of that article, you're highly likely to convert. And they also know that if they put that offer button too soon, it might scare you away. They want to kind of sell you before they get your buy-in before they actually try and sell you on the product.
So let me ask kind of a piggyback question on that. I know that I've been doing a lot more with Zipify pages, and I know that one of the advertorial templates that they use, they almost make it look like, and you can't see it here on WUFFES obviously because they're all mobile, but like they make it almost look like there's an ad right at the very top, like in the right. It's like a little square or whatever, and like they're almost, hey, you're reading this great advertorial, and we're promoting this product. I guess that's kind of a sneaky way around. Here's the offer, but by the way, read all this.
We do that with do we still do that with Vibit, Melissa?
Yeah, do we want to find one of their advertorials to show real quick?
Yeah. Give a good idea of kind of what that looks like.
Yeah, it'll just
But
take me a find it. Hold on.
it's all right. It's exactly what you're talking about, where like the correct me if I'm wrong, Melissa, was it even set up on a different domain and ad account, or am I thinking of NutriPaw?
No, they NutriPaw had a different domain, but Vibit also has a different domain, and they have ones that they're like advertisers for not Meta. I can't think of what it is.
Oh, App 11
Yeah, so then
native.
they'll figure out what works first. So we have some that they've built and some that we've built in there. And then we all move it over to it generally has been performing better on our domain.
Yeah, it was because of the probably the domain authority.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what you're talking about, where it's it's not trying to scare someone, and more so it's just trying to get them the information, but also position the product as if it's
Mhm.
an ad. There's one that got me not too long ago. Is It was for, I'm on the ultimate quest to find the perfect shoe, and it got me so good I almost bought it. But it was like it was an article all about like wide-toed shoes and why they're important and like the benefit for like foot health. And then I saw the little ad right there. And then I started doing my marketing thing. I'm like scrolling to the bottom of the page. What does the copyright say? What is the URL? Oh yeah, this one with Dr. Kyle. Perfect.
Was it for Segoro shoes?
I think it was.
Oh, because I have had those in my cart because I'm like, okay, you've got me because maybe I need a larger toe box. Maybe
Yep.
that'll solve all my life's problems. You got me with
Marketers.
marketing.
Marketers selling to marketers.
So this one is like a teacher angle. So they have this specific layout. And then they just update it for all their different angles that they want to do. So they have one for nurse, they have one for elderly, one for pregnant women, one for people that stand and work all day long. And they have some reviews on the side, and then this product where you can check availability and it takes you down. But as you like scroll through their thing, then that on the right stays static. So it stays sticky on there. So it's like, oh, you're learning all about their product. Um, as sort of a blog post and then as you get down. And I just, yeah, it makes you think you're like actually on a blog.
Yeah, until you start getting down to the bottom there and you're like, oh,
Oh, you're selling to me. I forgot. I forgot where I was.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and that one takes you straight out to the that page as well.
Is he changing prices again? Or is that Australia?
That was Australia side.
Okay.
No, all good there. So, yeah. What other questions you guys have? Advertorials, anything? We all good?
I want to see the checkout setup. Is it anything special or is it just Shopify?
I think because it's built on Shopify, it most likely is going to be Shopify. I didn't think we needed to go through. My dog doesn't need hip and joint supports.
Now, in the past three times we've struck out for upsells.
I know.
We'll
And
need to
that,
do like a direct response marketer that's not on Shopify. They're almost guaranteed to have upsells.
yeah. Maybe at some point we go through Living It Daily.
Oh, real quick on that. Not specifically about living it daily, but Marlon in the group sent me a message, and then Keith, Emer, Chad. If you guys, well, I know Chad, you're in supplements, but check out supp.co, supp.co. If and it's really interesting. It's an application where um, they're not promoting supplements. They're giving brands like trust scores based on their ingredients, their certifications, all of this kind of stuff. And it's really interesting. And I think I've had this thought that supplements are getting really oversaturated. And the only ones that are going to last are the ones that can actually prove that theirs is among the highest quality. And on that application, it actually gives you ratings from like 0 to 10 of that brand and then that particular product. And I tried to do some research of like, are these brands paying to be on here or whatever it might be? You actually have to go through a process. And on their website, they'll give you an email that you can email to get your own trust score. And what they'll do is you'll fill out a survey and then they'll do some research on your brand and put them in their database based on the ingredients, where the ingredients are sourced, all of the certifications in the facilities, all this kind of stuff, and then spit out a rating and put your product in their database so that when somebody goes to buy your product and they might have that application, they can scan your barcode, your product will pop up. The downside is if you're a if you're just selling widgets and powders and your product is not good and you're getting like a 2 rating out of 10, it will suggest a better product next to yours. But then
Mm.
vice versa, if your product's actually good, then it'll suggest your product next to the bad products. So it's a really interesting way to kind of help the consumer find the right product for them. But yeah, that link's on there. It's I think it's under trust score, brand trust score, and you can email them and fill out the survey and everything like that to get your brand in the database. But I looked up Living It Daily, and I think maybe some bad reviews are playing against the brand. They're like a six out of 10 at the moment, and Seed is at like a 9.5 or something like that. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Just see here, Keith. So, Melissa, did you see this message here from Keith about compliance issues with advertorials?
Oh, I didn't. I will say though that most advertorials that I see will either be labeled in the header bar that it's an advertorial, or it'll be clearly labeled in the footer. And so WUFFES just says like statements on WUFFES.com have not been evaluated by the FDA, products intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. So they have that. But then for the Vibe It, they have like advertorial on all of their advertorial pages.
Another thing too, I mean, it's the same as like any of your ads or product pages is just don't make claims. Like a supplement isn't there to say this is going to change XYZ. All a supplement is there to do is to supplement and support. So I think it follows the same compliance stuff that you should follow for ads and product pages. I don't think there needs to be any difference there.
Yep. Awesome.
Cool. All set.
All set.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Sorry for the late start today. Try and be more organized next time.
No, good stuff. Appreciate y'all.
Thanks so much, team.
You as well. Bye now.